everybody, and welcome back to the Blossom Review. How are you? Today we are reviewing Netflix's The Art of Sarah, a mystery thriller that came out just a few weeks ago. The Art of Sarah explores the shallowest, proudest, and most soulless aspects of human nature through a naughty narrative whose many threads might not be seamlessly woven together, but whose core message is conveyed with conviction. Now, if you haven't watched the show yet, don't worry about it. This review is spoiler-free, okay? So, The Art of Sarah takes us to the lavish launch party of Boudoir's latest collection. We soon understand that Boudoir is an exclusive brand that makes sophisticated bags for the elite. The head of the Boudoir regional office is the stunning Sarah Kim, played by Shin Hye-sun, who we follow as she walks past photographers, esteemed guests, and sparkly handbags in vitrines. This first sequence lasts long enough to leave the breadcrumbs needed to get the story started, but soon the glamour is replaced by yearning as people line up in cheap tents outside a high-end department store. And then yearning becomes terror when a young woman in the queue spots a dead body in the sewers. Arriving at what now is a crime scene is Detective Park Moo-gyung, played by Jun-hyuk. With little to go on but the victim's ankle tattoo and fancy handbag, Detective Park identifies the body in front of him as Boudoir's Sarah Kim. But more than the identity of the culprit, what truly baffles Detective Park is the identity of the victim herself. There is no record of Sarah Kim anywhere, and the boudoir bags she used to sell for millions were nothing but cheap items. Park has just begun to pull a very long and twisty thread from an awfully tangled yarn ball, which is the narrative of The Art of Sarah. With every episode, Sarah gains a new facet, a new name, and a new background. This yarn ball that is Sarah's existence seems to have no starting or ending point, as Parker keeps pulling and pulling without ever truly getting to see the whole picture. We never get to know who Sarah really is because all we have are memories and impressions and recollections from the people she's met. Even when Sarah is telling her own story, her current self matters less than the tale she's concocting. The Art of Sarah allows its protagonist's identity to remain a mystery to the very end, thanks to a well-established non-linear framing device. That is, The Art of Sarah is a story within a story, in which all narrators are completely unreliable. After all, they all have hidden agendas to protect. The many faces of Sarah Kim contradict one another, making her into a kaleidoscopic, elusive protagonist that you don't know whether to admire or despise. Sarah is brilliantly cunning, hardworking, and resilient. She can be kind, but manipulative. She's cold and calculating, yet warm and welcoming. She's furious at society, at her fate, at herself, but she's surprisingly stoic too. So who is Sarah? What's her real name? Where was she born? What made her dedicate her existence to this quest for revenge and status and luxury? These questions are never answered for a very good reason. The Art of Sarah is a story about a world in which it doesn't matter who you are. It only matters who you seem to be. Sarah's journey illustrates how society cares much about appearances, but very little about actual substance. In The Art of Sarah, we are all shallow and vain beings, stuck in vicious and pathetic cycles of exploitation. We are governed by a system that perpetuates social inequity and feeds delusions of grandeur. Social class is strongly inherited, and social mobility is non-existent. People are either born into the elite or they can only strive to imitate it. In order to hack the system, Sarah perfects identity performance, taking advantage of the hubris that blinds the people around her to get what she wants. Actually, in the art of Sarah, hubris is always worse than stupidity. Well, most characters in the series aren't stupid or foolish, but terribly arrogant and overconfident. Then Sarah shamelessly does what the system requires. She exploits people's egocentric belief that they are naturally owed what they desire and that they are always superior to everyone else. Bit by bit, Sarah shapes reality into what she wants it to be. And to keep the reality she devised alive, she's willing to give up her identity, her wealth, and her freedom. The art of Sarah is a dark, raw, and hopeless illustration of a world devoid of soul and heart. Through sharp cinematography, precise directing, and intricate production design, the series lives in a universe full of sparkle and glamour, but that always feels awfully superficial. Gloom and sorrow constantly permeate this script, which is well-paced and marked by riveting twists and nuanced dialogues that never let you come to definite conclusions. Despite its incredible visuals and compelling narrative, the art of Sarah definitely doesn't pull off the perfect con. Perhaps because we are way too familiar with the digital immediacy that marks the past decade or so, but most of Sarah's scheme requires too much suspension of disbelief for a story set in 2024. The theatricality that allowed similar scandals such as the Vincent & Co. one to exist back in 2006 wouldn't really work 1 or 2 years ago. After all, we have a world of information at our disposal with our constant and all-pervasive access to the internet. Detective Bach's investigative process is severely flawed, and as the narrative tries to weave the threads that create Boudoir together, there is much that just doesn't tie up. The more you try to understand the mechanics behind the swindle at the heart of this tale, the more questions you are bound to ask. What makes the exaggerations and follies of the art of Sarah even more apparent is the fact that the show has a single goal: to use its mystery storyline to convey its core message, and that's pretty much it. The script has no emotional resonance because the characters aren't giving any motivation or develop an arc or even a personality outside their assigned roles. That becomes super clear with Detective Park, whose characterization can be summarized as archetypal investigator determined to find the truth, and that for some unknown reason is often ignored by his own peers and superiors. In the end, we know as much about Park as we know about Sarah, or any other character for that matter. Characters in the art of Sarah lack identity. And while you could say that this was also done on purpose to reflect the show's theme, I could argue that with a more well-rounded cast of characters around Sarah, the contrast would help deliver the message even more clearly. Despite its weaknesses, The Art of Sarah remains an irresistible watch thanks to Shin Hye-sun's hypnotic performance. Shin has proven to be one of Korea's greatest actresses time and again over the past decade, but here she's absolutely fascinating. She gives each and every single one of Sarah's identities a new twist, delivering a whole range of emotions, oddities, and stances with the perfect aplomb. Shin succeeds in fooling us, pulling us into Sarah's con with charisma and confidence. It's also important to say that Jun-hyuk responds to Shin with the same screen presence, giving his character much more than what the script offers him. It's a huge pleasure to see Shin and Lee perform together for the first time since TVN's Stranger in 2017, as they naturally bounce off each other and infuse the story with further tension. So the final question is, should you watch The Art of Sarah? The Art of Sarah is a visually sophisticated mystery thriller that relies on truly terrific performances and an intriguing premise that keeps you hooked from beginning to end. If you don't think too hard about the mechanics of the script's events and hold on to the show's theme instead, you will find some timely social commentary on the performative nature of modern society and its materialistic and exploitative systems. The Art of Sarah is available on Netflix. Quick reminder that this review is also available on the Blossom Review, and over on Substack this week we reviewed SBS's No Tale to Tell, which came to a close last weekend, and you can also find on Netflix. So I'll leave all the links in the description if you guys would like to give them a read. Guys, thank you so very much for being here. I really hope that you like this video and you subscribe so I can see you here every week for a new review. Take very good care of yourself and have a lovely day today. Thank you so much. Big kiss. Bye.